cold, calculating, cruel. That was some of the adjectives used by a, shall we say, waxy, dedicated author of Harry and Meghan, who basically claims that the former royals' security is now jeopardized more than ever after being very nicely, politely removed themselves from their once allegedly unhappy home, Frogmore Cottage. And when I say the word cottage, I'm using the word very loosely. It's far more than a cottage, as we saw in that docu-series by Harry and Meghan for Netflix. But now things are taking a turn for the worse. As ever, let me explain. Morning, Neil, Sean here. Nice to see you. I hope you're all well today. There's nothing worse, is there, than having to pack up and move. You know what it's like yourself. When you've moved, you decide what you want to keep, what don't you want to keep, all of that sort of stuff. What a lot of people are amazed about with regarding Harry and Meghan and their departure from that particular home, Frogmore Cottage, is why apparently it's now suddenly so sentimental to them. They couldn't wait to leave. Harry said he didn't like being in London because of all the paparazzi. Clearly forgetting, of course, all of those high walls that were around Windsor, which afforded him absolute security, something now he has to pay for himself. Something, of course, he's fighting ahead with for IPP status, which would mean, of course, that the British taxpayer, in the end, would have to fund his particular security and lifestyle, something we're not very happy with, as you can imagine. But now, according to a very good source, Harry and Meghan are absolutely dismayed, disheartened, and more importantly, would like more time to see exactly how they can refine themselves a London base as and when they come back here to London. And it's interesting to note because they are basically citing the fact that, while yes, they didn't have to pay any rent on the upkeep of Frogmore Cottage, given the fact that they'd already contributed to the renovations. And truly, nobody knows how much Harry and Meghan paid to the renovations. There's no balance sheet being shown there. But if you recall in Prince Harry's book, he said things were so bad that they were having to use Meghan Markle's credit card just to get some furniture in there. Hard to believe, don't you think? But now, according to that source, Meghan is absolutely furious with the King, His Majesty the King, I should say, simply because she doesn't know how this was allowed to get out into the public domain. According to the back and forth memos, or whatever they received, they had hoped to have this put, well, shall we say, quietly, that Harry and Meghan would simply take their things and remove themselves out of Frogmore Cottage, so that the King could press ahead with whatever plans he has for that particular abode. Seemingly, though, someone decided to alert the press, as you can imagine. But now the bottom line is this: when you consider that on the day that particular missive was sent over to Harry and Meghan, it was the launch day of Prince Harry's book, Spare, the International Day, not the fake day of leaking. Do you know what I'm saying? And what's interesting also here is Meghan now apparently feels, allegedly, we have to say, that there should be some kind of formal apology, because this has made them look kind of, first of all, homeless and painted in a bad light, that they've been booted out of their royal home by the King of England. Well, it's nothing of the sort. They were politely informed, asked exactly what they would be required to do, and as we already know now, the King himself has said that all of that now can be pushed forward after the coronation. But as ever, seen a twist of a story, and I'm not suggesting this is Meghan Markle's idea, but whoever is working for them sees this as a very good opportunistic moment to make sure once again there's an embarrassment attached to the British monarchy, and in particular the King, painting him as an uncaring, unkind father-in-law, when he's simply nothing of the sort, as we saw as he very gallantly and very nicely walked down Meghan Markle to her wedding, albeit halfway on her instructions. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.